I'm a senior project manager at Ncell. I've been working in Ncell for 10 years, and I'm an Agile scout who's been driving the Agile transformation journey in my company. I do deliver workshops and trainings as well within the company, but I do not do it like outside of the company. And I'm an active member of Agile Nepal, who is the organizer of this particular gathering. Yeah. So moving on to the current demographics of Ncell. What is Ncell then? Ncell is the largest telecom operator in Nepal with a subscriber base of more than 20 million. If you look at the mobile penetration rate, then the total mobile penetration rate in Nepal is 65%, out of which Ncell contributes to 45%. So we are one of the leading telecom operators in Nepal. And with the total GDP of 24.7 billion last year, the GDP contribution from Ncell was 3.2%. So that's also a pretty significant figure for the economics of the country. And not to forget that we are the largest taxpayer of Nepal. Little bit on the business side. What is our business like? We sell products and services. We sell voice, data, internet, everything. But our revenue has been declining because there has been a decline in the ILD. That's the international long distance call. And we have been getting OTT threats, like people are more inclined to using Viber and WhatsApp these days, so they tend to use the telecom services more, and they rely on the data services. So if you look at the data services, then yeah, we have good opportunities with data, but again, we have like very good players, like we have other telecom operators who are doing equally good on the data part. So that's also one of the threats for us. Yeah. It is an opportunity, but at the same time, it's a threat as well. Data revenue is highest the highest contributor for our revenue is data, so we are focusing on leveraging the data because we want to get the maximum ROI out of it. Yeah, not to spend much about the business. So let's see, like, why we are doing Agile then. What do we want to get out of Agile in Ncell? So like I said that we're starting on the journey of Agile transformation, and we've been doing things on Agile since 2016, but why are we doing so? Because we want greater employee satisfaction score. Our employees, we've done a survey, I'll compare it to you later, but we want our employees to be happy. That's one reason that we are moving into Agile transformation. Second is we want to beat the low productivity and less revenue. So we want to get better investments on our, we want to get better return on our investments. So that's one reason why we're doing Agile. You know that waterfall projects might not always deliver the end results as expected. So you might be expecting a big apple, and when you get the result, it could be some tomato or something, something else. So that's one reason why we're doing Agile. We want to go faster to the market, like I said, that we want to beat, in terms of revenue and everything. So we want a better investment, a better return on our investment. And we want to build products with customer needs. So customer satisfaction is also one of our greatest values. So we want to make our customers happy and sell best products that they would enjoy using in future. There has been a change in management in Ncell in 2016. So before 2016, we were Telia Sonera, a Swedish company, but from 2016 in April, Axiata, that's a Malaysian company, took over, and then we had a change in management as well. So by looking at the figures by comparing those two figures from 2016 and 2018, there has been some changes as well. So the current management did not like some of the working principles of the early management, and they wanted to do things into Agile as well. So we have that as well, yeah. Like I said, that we started using Agile after the change of management, and what we found is we've launched 10 products in 1 year in 2018, as compared to only 4 products that was launched in 2016. So there has been a very remarkable achievement using Agile. So that's what we like about using Agile as well. And this is just a figure, saying that why we're using Agile. I mean, this is a comparison between the statistics of 2016 versus the statistics of 2018. So as you can see that we have been better in terms of teamwork, performance, operating efficiency, empowerment, communication, career development after using Agile. So that's also one reason to moving into Agile from waterfall technology. So how exactly are we bringing in this change then? What are the key elements that we have? What's the holistic approach to change then? First, it's values and principles, values and beliefs of the organization. So how strong is your organizational value? So how does your organizational value support in terms of Agile transformation? That's a key lead, right? For us, customer loyalty is one of the strongest company values, and we believe in delivering the best services to our customers. So keeping that value as a pivot, we have designed the entire Agile transformation journey. I will walk you through, in the later stages. And what we do to get the maximum customer satisfaction then, we work with our customers, we actually try to figure out their needs, and then we come up with solution that best fits their needs. So we have a very close relation with our customers, and we incorporate the feedbacks from them as well. So that's what we do. So in that terms, we have very strong values and belief. Sorry about that. Second one is with the practices and tools. So you are using Agile, you want to go Agile, but what are the practices and tools that you want to use? Maybe you would like to use the practices that are known to you, that are more useful and that are more easy to use. Like in my company, we use more of Scrum and Kanban, and that's what's helping us as well. And what we do is we will be using a standard tool, Jira. I think most of the companies also use that, right? So we've been using that, and we're getting good benefit out of it. And when it comes to practices, then it's about empowering your employees as well when it comes to Agile transformation, right? So we used to have a time when a VPN approval would take 4 to 5 approvals, right? Managerial approval. So that wasn't a very good thing that was happening inside of the company. So after being introduced to an Agile mindset, when the leaders were, said that, okay, now we're moving into Agile, then we started a culture of trusting our employees. So there was a culture of empowering your teammates, your subordinates, and then creating a culture of trust. So that was also one of the key elements which helped us to transform. The third most important thing is also function in teams. You could be working in silos and you would be playing blame games, right? I come up with a problem, I go to one department, they might be saying, oh, this is not your problem, this is not my problem, this is somebody else's problem, right? So there's a lot of pointing fingers at the other departments when you're working in silos. But that's not the case when you're working in a team or when you're working with an Agile team, right? So you have a team and then you believe in the team, and whatever happens, the project success is also dependent upon the team. Even if a project fails, then it's the team who's going to fail. So it's not an individual who's going to be rewarded or an individual who's going to be punished, but it's a team who would be rewarded for good benefits. But let's say we are also co-located, we have got regional offices all over Nepal. But how do we communicate then? That's also important because you want to break the silos, you want to break the barriers. At the same time, you want to be interconnected with your employees which work in a different geography than yours. So you need to make sure that you have regular meetings. In our company, we have a lot of team buildings. We have events like badminton competitions. We have holy parties. We have all these kinds of things where people from different regions can meet up. We have a family fun day as well. What happens is like you don't only go there alone, but your family is also there, right? So you're making a personal connection with your employees. So you better get to know each other, and then you have a sense of empathy, which is very important while working in an agile culture. So that's how we break the silos, and that's what's been working for us till now. The other element is exemplary leadership, which is very important. So a leader group upon which you can look upon to. And let's say like you need to make sure that the leader has a common language of vocabulary. And there could be some red listed words like you could be changing some words like want to I drive, and like some motivating words. So you could be using such kind of common vocabulary in your meetings, in your presentations, while talking to each other. So it's important to have a very good leader in that terms as well. And also like what you could do is like what we did is we were not really sure that how we could go about this agile transformation. So we hired some change agents, we hired some external consultants, we did some homework with them, and then we came up with a solution. So that worked well for us. And also like this leader, he or she should never be afraid of asking for help, because it's not a one-man's job, always. So if you do not know anything, then you should always be open to ask for help, and you should always be there to help your employees as well. So that was also one of the important factors that we at Ncell considered. The fifth part was learning. We were new to Agile. We did not know much where to start from, how to go about it. So we had lots of kick-off meetings and workshops organized, just to know about Agile. So we did CSM, we did some workshops with Kanban, with the framework. We had some trainings on Jira. So that's how we got used to, and we did some trainings on the culture part as well. We did some DISC. I don't know if any one of you is aware about the DISC personality or not, but we did something as DISC personality assessment as well. And so you need to conduct a lot of trainings because you don't know how to go about it, right? So kick off meetings and start throwing off workshops. That was also an important factor for driving this change. And while changing, the organization made sure that the employees had a secured environment for failing, because while going on a new journey, you have to experiment things, you have to work on many hypotheses, right? So if you do not give that social security to your employees, then they would never come out and experiment new things. For us, like in our company, we have formed a team who come up with, let's say like I form a team, I'm interested in doing one kind of project, I know that it would run for XYZ customer. So I form a team, some people are interested, I approach the management, and then I try to work. The HR has introduced something called a slack time, where I can work with the other department like for 2 hours in a week. So I'm allowed to do that at a professional level. So during that time, what I do is I have a team, I work on my project, then I showcase it to the management and saying that, see, this is how this is going to work, and this is what I feel is going to work. So we do a lot of experimenting as well, and we have done this for a ticketing system, and we have a ticketing system for our customer care ready with one of the teams as well. So that was also one of the good achievements for us. And lastly, your people and your employees are the most important element in your organization, because they are the ones who will be leading the change, right? So you need to inspire purpose to them. Why am I doing this? What is the content of doing so and so? So the content needs to be very clear on the level of vision, on the level of values. What value am I going to deliver, or what my role is going to be as an employee or as a leader? So you need to have a very clear concept on the intent of what I am doing and why I am doing. So you could be on a burning platform anytime which would be dying, right? So when you have the intent and your goal is clear, then I think you could really work out on any kind of transformation, like agile transformation work for us. Okay, so having said that, we've mapped our agile transformation journey with a vision that's today, tomorrow, and together. And we have 3 business objectives. One is converting customers to fan. The second one is converting employees to cheerleader, and the third one is creating an agile organization. So we've come up with a roadmap, we have a clear vision, we have the objectives, and under these objectives, under these strategic pillars, we run a couple of initiatives, couple of projects, couple of campaigns. I'll go through them in detail in the coming up slides. So, converting customers to fans, how do we do that then? We are a telco, we are a telecom operator, we provide services and products to our customers, right? So what is our intent is we want to come up with the best solutions that we could deliver. So we'll run a lot of campaigns, like these are the major ones which are taking peak. I think you guys have also been using some of the campaigns. I don't know if you are some Ncell users. Yeah, you're smiling. So we have the recharge and win offer. So that's one of the campaigns that we're running now. We run a lot of campaigns for data and voice packs. We do a campaign like favorite 5, so that those are your favorite list, and you get like less, you're charged less for calling these 5 numbers. And you have like different offers, like monsoon offers, Valentine offer. Valentine's Day is coming, so we'll soon have Valentine's offer as well. So it's targeted to any festival or any kind of celebration as well. Yeah. So what happens like while doing campaigns is like we do short-term campaigns, like we have the campaigns in the system for 3 months usually, so that's the normal time period. And after 3 months, we just scrap that campaign and we do something else. Well, there are some campaigns which go for a longer period of time, but usually they're in the system for only 3 months. And we do a lot of projects as well in support of these campaigns, or in support of some other, in support of some other product and services. Like we've been doing a customer lifecycle management project. That's one of my major projects for 2018 as well. We're doing this with the Agile, within the Agile framework using Scrum, and we are delivering good value out of it. We've been doing a back office digitization as well, because we are going on a digital transformation journey and we want to go paperless. So we've been doing a back office digitization as well. We've been doing a project, this one is also one of my major projects, on big data analytics, because we want to gather customer data and then run insights. We want to draw insights that we could act upon, like creating better values and getting, giving them more useful products, looking at those insights. So we are doing that. So we are addressing customer personas and micro segments as well. So this platform has helped us do that. We've launched mobile apps because we want to make sure that our customers have a friendly channel for communication and to use our services. So we launched mobile apps. We have better self-managed services and channels like IDR, USSD, SMS. And we introduced chatbot as well in our Facebook page. And again, this was also an experimental project for us, because the team internally came up and there were some good designers and good coders in programmers and coders in the organization who wanted to come up with a chatbot concept, and which really worked for our Facebook page. And we've experimented this and we've rolled out as well, and it's working fine. So how do we visualize everything on a portfolio level then? You can see this Kanban board. Like I said, that we run a number of campaigns and projects. This is just an example for the campaigns, but we do similar things for projects as well, and we do similar things for sales as well. So even the sales guys, they have a similar board where they visualize their ongoing works. So how is it useful then? So you can see this is for a 1 month period. They are loaded with campaigns that are running for that month. And you see that which campaigns are already completed, they're ready to launch, how many campaigns are ongoing, how many campaigns have been on hold, how many have been launched, how many have been terminated, right? So when you look at the number of campaigns that have gone into hold and terminated, you can easily figure out what's the waste, right? So whenever you want to go into a lean concept, you do not want such waste in your systems. So next time, like whenever you do your calendar planning for the next month, you make sure that you don't come up with too many of campaigns going on hold or being terminated for whatsoever the reason may be, right? So that's one thing that this kind of Kanban board would give a visualization at a portfolio level. And if you look at the pie chart on the right, then it's a similar thing. This is just a pie chart for the monthly thing. We do a similar thing for a yearly basis as well, where you can see that how many campaigns have been launched, how many have been terminated. So you can calculate your revenue in advance as well. Like you can see that, okay, I'm going to get so much of revenue from this campaign. So you are already calculating your revenue, and you know like where you need to invest on. So you have a better visibility with that. We do a similar thing at a team level as well. That the earlier one was at a portfolio level. But we do a similar thing at a team level. We see that these are the requests that has been coming up. We have so many campaigns or projects in line. So what are technically feasible? So we do a requirement analysis. Okay, the requirement is okay to go through. Then we do a technical feasibility. Once the technical feasibility is over, you know that okay, this campaign is achievable. Then this is where we do the discovery Kanban part, right? So we're spending time to know that we're spending time to know the feasibility of that campaign or that project. But once the discovery is over, we hand it to the Scrum team and we do the delivery Kanban part. So the Scrum team starts working on that project or that campaign, and then we visualize like the development that's ongoing, the testing that has been done and verified, and the number of campaigns or projects that are ready to be launched. So you are seeing these things at at a team level. So discovery Kanban and delivery Kanban has helped us to visualize our portfolio at a team level as well. Yeah. So this is one of the typical Agile delivery at Ncell. So the picture of me speaking in one of the Agile forums in Malaysia. We had an Agile PMO meet. So we meet up regularly with other OpCos as well, our sister companies. And we use a lot of visual boards and Kanban boards. You can see in the pictures that we have a program wall. We have Kanban boards and visual boards. And the ceremonies in Ncell are similar. Like for campaigns, we do a biannual review of products and offerings. So that's planned into the monthly calendar plan for campaign management system. And then we plan this calendar on a monthly basis, and we have operational review meetings as well to check on the feasibility and the resource requirements. So we're coming up with some categories, but we need to have we need to have an AOP in place. Like okay, these are the number of resources available. Not only resources in terms of human resource, but resource in terms of networks as well. Because we are a telco, so we need to check on the network availability as well, not only the human part, right? So we do that in the monthly operational reviews as well. And we do stand-up, sprint planning, review and retrospective as well. So currently we have 5 Scrum teams and 3 Scrum Masters in Ncell, but we wish to scale this to a good level so that we can run more projects and campaigns using Agile. The challenges. There are some challenges which are common to everyone, and some challenges that's more specific to us, to Ncell and our OpCos. So when you look at challenges, there will always be challenges with the cultural transformation part. This is the toughest part in any kind of transformation, right? Changing the mindset empowering people, trusting them, yeah, changing their work behaviors. These are one of the top challenges that any of the companies who are moving into agile transformation would face. Next one is with the engagement, with the user engagement. So you need to keep that motivation on. You need to put that energy and stakeholder buy-in there at all the levels at all times, right? So that's also one of the challenges. And you need to make sure that you have the same rule for everyone. Like I'm a manager or I'm a section manager, it doesn't mean that the rule is different for me. So we have a common rule for everyone, and having that is also one challenge, right? Saying that okay, you are not supposed to do this just because you are so. So that's also a challenging part that any organization would be facing. Again, in terms of performance, you need to set and reach your personal goals, as well as train and develop your employees and identify the roadblocks. At the same time, you need to have your focus on your strategy. What is your strategy? So that is also one of the challenges. And not to forget the investment. You are investing so much on a transformation journey. You are transforming because of certain reasons, because you want higher ROI. But you need to make a check as well. There should be a check and balance. So are you getting the return as expected? Are your finances being met as expected? So that's also a challenge, and you need to keep a track. You need to have a good visual report on this as well. So the reporting part is also one of the challenges. I'll discuss some of the challenges, like the real challenges that we face in Ncell. So earlier, what happened is we started on this agile transformation journey, and the team, they did not want to come up for the daily stand-up. So I'm a Scrum Master. I call my team, and then the team says that this is not giving us value. We are not interested in coming for a meeting for, we used to have a 30 minutes. That was a wrong concept. It should have been 10 to 15 minutes, right? So they're saying that wasting 30 minutes every day doesn't add value. So what we did is what I proposed doing was, okay, let's have a meeting on every alternate days. So in 5 days, we had only 3 meetings on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And we made sure that we had that meeting only for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. At the end of 15 minutes, it was done. You're not spoken? Okay, fine, done. So that's how we implemented the rule, and it actually worked for us. So we were not having daily stand-ups, we were having stand-ups on alternate days. And once the team was motivated and they knew okay, how the value was being achieved, and they thought that, okay, this is giving real values, then we again switched back to having daily stand-ups. So now we have daily stand-ups for 15 minutes and everybody's happy. The other one was the sprint backlog used to keep on changing. So I have a backlog for 2-week sprint. That's what usually we do, a 2-week sprint. And the product owner comes and says that, okay, I think I'll have to change this one. This is not a good practice, right? So as a Scrum Master, you should not be accepting these kind of changes within the backlog when the sprint is ongoing. So we made a strict rule that we have a product backlog for 2 months. So if it's going to be a big project also, the team needs to have a visibility on what are the things that's going to turn up in the 2 months. So we have a backlog ready for the 2 months, and out of that 2 months backlog, we have a subset of backlogs that comes up in every sprint. And even if you have to revise, then you do the revision in the time frame that you're not allowed to do the revision while the sprint is ongoing, but you could add up things in the next sprint. So we came with a very strict decision that this could be done only within, changes could not be made while the sprint is ongoing, but we could address it once that sprint is over. So we stuck to that rule, and then that worked for us as well. Third thing was our developers, they did not want to do QA and documentation part. So this could be common in your organization as well, right? You're smiling, so yeah. So what we did is, since we are a telco, we have a team called Performance and Management, Quality Performance and Management. So what they do is they do all the quality checks and everything. So we included one team member from specifically in the team to do the quality to do the QA and documentation. So the developers, they were happy doing their job, and the QA guy was happy doing his job. So that's how we resolved that conflict as well. And one of the interesting problems that we had, or many companies would still struggle having, is like nobody would understand Agile. Agile, okay, what is that? You know the buzzword Agile, but you don't know what Agile is, and you don't know how Agile works, right? So we do a lot of trainings, and I do it internally for my staff as well. So people even call me Agile girl, Agile Abhigya, right? So I mean, you do not really, I mean, when you're starting with a new thing, you do not have a concept, and people would not really know like what you would be getting out of it. So it's your responsibility to educate them as well, make them understand that okay, this is Agile, and these are the reasons why we are doing Agile, and you would get benefits in so and terms. So we do a lot of workshop and trainings in this regard because nobody understood Agile initially. So those were the challenges, but what is our success stories? We have a lot of success stories as well. One of the thing is green coffee. You can see that Ncell as well. We have a mug as well. We have our own cafeteria, and we have our own mug, Ncell mug as well. And we do a concept of lean coffee. So that's not only having coffee, but we do an agenda-less meeting. So we invite people from the business team, procurement, finance, HR, technical team. So we've done this twice, and it has really worked for us. And the team then and themselves, they decide on what topic that they want to discuss, on what issues they want to discuss. And we've had this discussion twice for 1 hour or so. And then we came up with certain problems, we identified them, and we got some solution as well. So this also worked for us. Second thing is about the learning organization. Like I said that our organization gives us a secured environment for failing. So I do not have to be afraid that just by failing in this project, I'll be risking my job. So that's one environment that the company has given, which is very good. And since we are a learning organization, we've been doing a lot of projects as well. Like I said, that we built our own chatbots, and we've had a trouble ticketing system that the customer care is actually using. So it's only because we are a learning organization, and our organization has given us a secured environment for failing. The third one is Fist of Five. So this one is about the smallest member having the ability to say no. So in a team, like I might be the smallest member, I might be the youngest one, I might be the most fresher one, but I might not agree to whatever is there in the backlog. Sometimes things might not work as per the backlog, and the technical team and the business team could have a dispute, right? Business wants this, but technical might say that no, this is not possible because of so. And just because business team say that you need to have this would not really change the scenario in a 2-week sprint, right? So the ability, giving them an environment to say no is also a good thing, right? So we have this, and the smallest member is also allowed to say no if he knows, if he's sure that something is not going to work for that product. This one is about the team committing to themselves before committing to the client. So we have a lot of products that are designed for an enterprise level. So we have a lot of enterprise customers. We come up with XYZ solution. So what the team does is, like the sales team, before they go and commit to this enterprise or this business, they come and check with the technical teams or the business team, and they make sure that okay, is this possible or not? Is this solution possible or not? So once they get a go ahead from the internal team, from technical and the business team, it's only then they go and commit to the external clients. So it's not like we just come with any request and say that okay, the external client wants this, build this up. That doesn't happen in our organization. The external clients wants XYZ. You come with their requirement, you check with the teams internally, and once it's okay with the team, they would give a certain timeline, or maybe in some cases they would just give them alternatives if that solution would not be feasible. So before committing it to the client, we commit it to the team. That's how we do things. And lastly, this one is also interesting because what we do is like we have a 2-week sprint, and we make sure that if you already have 6 sprints, then you'll have 1 sprint that's only a week long for yourself. So in that 1 week, you can do whatever you want. You want to learn about new things, okay. You don't want to work in this thing, you want to work with some other, some people of other domain, you want to see how things are working, that's fine. So you get one week of your own where you can do things at your own ability and with your own interest. So what happens with this is like you don't let the team burn out, because if you're continuously having too many sprints, like let's say like 10 or 12 sprints, then the team might actually burn out while working. You're just coding, you're just working with the same thing, so you might just burn out, right? We are humans, we're not machines, right? So we make sure that after 6 sprints, then we have 1 sprint that you have for your own study, or you want to enjoy, or you do whatever you want. But after you come back, you're fresh, and then you start working again for the sprints. So these are the good things about in Ncell. I'll tell you a little bit about failure. It's not like we've not had failure. We've had a major failure in 2000 we did this project from 2014. So we had a major failure in 2014, carried over to 2016, and it was a success in 2018. I'll let you know how. We were doing a project for life cycle management, like I show you customer life cycle management, and it failed twice using a waterfall model. It was a very long project. It was planned for some one and a half year, and we did it twice with the same vendor. And for some reasons, there were requirements missing at sometimes. Sometimes the end result was not as expected. The integration was too large. Maybe we were integrating all the data sources at the same time. So those were the mistakes that we did, and we did the same mistake for 2 times. And in the 3rd time, what happened is like, this is one of our major projects in 2018. So we used Agile. So we just said that, okay, we will run this project in sprints. Let's see if it delivers value or not. And we will continue using it in the same process using Agile if it works for certain sprints. So what we did is we delivered 5 use cases in 6 sprints. So that was a good achievement for us. And we are still working on with this project, and it will be completed by maybe February next year. And it has worked it failed using waterfall, and it's working while using Agile, because now we are seeing the end results in 2 weeks, right? So whatever correction, so we did not have a fail fast concept in waterfall, and we have this fail fast concept in Agile. So even if we see that things are not working, then we can just correct it in the other sprint, in the next sprint, right? So the fail fast concept has worked for us, and it has actually led a failure project into one of the major successful projects of 2018. So we had a capex loss of 700,000 USD in 2016, and we are doing this project using only 450,000 USD in 2018. So we've saved a lot in terms of money as well. Yeah, and the lesson learned with this project was you need to start with something small first, do things in iteration, and your communication should also be very clear and consistent throughout the project. So that's one thing that we learned. Okay, and about the Agile organization, so how are we having an Agile organization? So you can see it in the picture that we have lots of rewards and recognition for our employees, and this is also one of them. We are Ncell and Asiata company, and there are a lot of opcos we have opcos in Malaysia, Indonesia, Sri Lanka. We have in India as well, idea. So what we do is we have this, every year we have something called Asiata Champions. So some 7 to 10 members who are the top performer for that year are Asiata Champions. So that's how we motivate our employees to boom and become better as well. And in the same way, we've been working on our workplace. We've been revamping the entire workplace. We've introduced flexible working hours. We introduced extended maternity leaves, good recreational leaves. So we started a culture of Slack time, vote of thanks. We started using visual boards and program boards. We have this Hall of Fame as well. The HR has introduced this. In terms of process simplification as well, we started trusting our employees and delegating authority and power to them. And the organization makes sure that they have the employees have a secured environment for failing. And we do a quarterly review of targets, but we make sure that your performance is linked to company values. So that's one thing that we have introduced recently, that linking your performance to values. So that's one thing maybe I'm pretty sure that it will work for us as well. So in terms of Agile Organization, we'll be doing all these things. So I've talked a lot about the transformation, but why is the culture important now then? Why does culture matter so much? Well, culture is the core of any organization, and it's about how you show up, right? It's about how you do things to succeed, right? So culture is like it's the assumption and the behavior that drives the result, right? And your result is dependent upon your company culture. So that's why culture is important. Also, there is a very popular saying that culture eats strategy for breakfast. This was said by Peter Drucker, one of the leading leaders of of culture, right? But it was made famous by Mark Fields. He's the president of Ford. He's one of the president of Ford. So culture is also important because if you do not manage culture, then ultimately culture is going to manage you, right? So if you don't manage the way you do work, then that work is going to manage you. So that's why culture is also very important. This one is a little bit about the Schneider model of culture, and he has classified, he has come up with 4 kinds of culture model. You could be in a control culture, you could be working in a collaboration culture, you could be working in a cultivation culture or a competence culture. So what is a control culture then? So control culture says that you succeed by getting and keeping control of your employees. So if you're working in a control culture, then you are driven by power, you're driven by authority, you're driven by hierarchy, system, structure, stabilities, and all those very big red words, right? But in the same way, if you're more into a collaboration culture, then you succeed by working together, working collaboratively. So the words that comes in would be trust, affiliation, partnership, dynamics, synergy, participation, teamwork, right? So that's what collaboration culture would really say. About cultivation culture, which is more of an agile culture, they say that you would succeed by growing your people, growing your employees. So you would be talking about faith, you would be talking about values, purpose. You would be experimenting things. You would be open to ideas. So you would have a lot of empathy as well. So that's what drives the cultivation culture. And finally, about competence culture, it says that you would succeed by being best. So it's about achievement, it's about craftsmanship, right? It's about how good you are at doing your work. It's about efficiency as well. Having said that, when you look at the agile culture, you can see that agile culture is more of collaboration, cultivation, a little bit of competence, because it does talk about technical excellence, but it is not into control culture. Nothing into control culture. You can look at the agile. This is taken from the agile principle. Agile principle talks about business and technical people working together. It emphasizes on face-to-face communication. It talks about self-organizing teams. So you can see that agile culture is more into collaboration, cultivation, and competence, and a little bit only on, and it's not on control at all. Yeah. But when you look at a Kanban culture, then you will see that if you look at the 5 principles of Kanban culture, then you can see that Kanban culture is more into control, a little bit of collaboration and competence, but there's not much of cultivation culture in that. So cultivation culture or the agile culture is missing in Kanban culture. But let's say, like, if you want to shift from one culture to another, you're in a control culture, you want to move into the other culture. So I think collaboration culture and the competence culture would be the good choice for you, because moving into opposites into a cultivation culture directly is a really no-no, because it's not suggested by Schneider as well in his model to move into opposite. That's all for today. So we are. So we are an agile organization, and agile is just a moving goal for us. And agile has helped us to become digital and to figure out what we are good at, and it has given us a sense of fit for purpose. So we work with this principle, and that has worked for us. Thank you very much.